Redditors who are married to Karens. How is it like? Not married to one, but my mom is absolutely one. I spend most of my time with her in public apologizing to people after she's walked away. The one and only time it comes in handy is when I've bought cars and had her come in during the price negotiation phase. She's knocked off thousands purely due to how unpleasant she is and how much people want her to just get the hell out of the door. Weaponized a Karen. Nice. Divorced an abusive Karen who was convicted of domestic violence. That's a misdemeanor, folks. So she got half of everything. Totally worth it. My life before was a nightmare. Escape was priceless. Note: if you are in a similar situation, especially now what with coronavirus quarantines, and need someone to talk to, PM me. Married to one. She doesn't get why people think Karens complain so much. It's annoying for her and she'd like to talk to someone about this. My life has been a living hell. The number of times I have had to intervene to save the life of a customer service rep over nickels is insane. I've asked for divorce now just a couple weeks ago. Guess how that went over? Not married to one. But my aunt is. My uncle is this soft-spoken giant. He never stands up to her in any way. Except once. At their daughter's wedding. She was about to interrupt the ceremony to close a window because she was chilly. Everyone sitting close could hear her whisper, "I'm going to do it. But I don't want to be an asshole." My uncle, in a calm, quiet tone, says quickly, "Why stop now?" Almost as if his filter just missed this one. I swear I could hear my dad snort 2 rows back trying to hold in laughter. My mom's a Karen. She is self-aware she is a Karen. My siblings and I send her memes about it. When my stepdad divorced her last summer, we were all amazed he lasted 17 years, to be honest. None of us like going out with her, it's terrible, and my husband just straight up tells her, "No, you aren't talking to the manager when we go in a place." I'll tell you guys a story my step told us. They are farmers and own a small beef and bee farm. They have a store they go to for bee supplies. The owner called my stepdad and asked him to please be the one to pick up their stuff because his staff was tired of dealing with my mom. He is the only one who went to the store for the next 5 years. My ex-wife is a Karen. In every sense but name. It was always so embarrassing. She was incapable of treating anyone like a human for the most trivial of occurrences. It was hell for me. As a person that's pretty forgiving and don't seek out confrontation. So in a one-word description, it was hell. Lol. P.S. She's very codependent and jumps from relationship to relationship these days. Not surprised. My mom is a Karen. She thinks the world is supposed to cater to her. Serve her and everyone else is wrong. Once we went to Carl's Jr. She ordered 4 burgers. For the 4 of us. She pulls one out of the bag while the guy is getting our drinks and hides it. She complains that he forgot a burger. She pulls them out one by one and counts it in front of him. It's obviously missing because she hid it and he's swearing up and down he put them all in the bag. I'm stunned, speechless, and it happened so fast. She got a free burger. And laughed as we drive off. I'm just staring at her and she opens it up to eat it on the drive home. And she ate her actual burger like the 5th one never existed. I can't even explain how she is when she's in the hospital. She treats it like a luxury stay in a hotel. Help me. Please. Sorry. You'll need to speak to the manager. Blink blink blink. Bleayink. 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 Blink blink blink. My mom is a little Karen. As in, it's her name. But she's like a bizarro Karen. She will constantly ask to speak with managers and supervisors and bosses. But when said managers arrive, she unloads about the employee helping her out was fantastic. Hardworking and friendly. And then she'll spend 20 minutes trying to figure out if she and the manager know someone in common. 9 times out of 10 they do. As a kid it would embarrass me. As an adult it's one of my favorite things about her. She makes people feel good about the work they do, and it's really special to watch how wonderful she makes people feel. Plus she's got long gorgeous silver hair. Edit. Karen and I are crying with all the love and support. She's a wonderful lady. And to give my fair city a much needed boost, this Karen is a lifelong Philadelphian. Thank you all for making mine and my mom's day. Stay safe out there. Karen. Not married to one. But mom was a major Karen back when I was growing up. Mom, can we just go? Was my favorite question. Then the apologetic nod as we leave the store. My sister is a Karen. Everyone feels so sorry for her husband. Everything is his fault. He is treated like a slave. She only addresses him by yelling. She constantly insults him. We have no idea why he hasn't divorced her or flipped out and attacked her. We have all told her to cool it and her response is that he's just so stupid. I could go on and on, but my sister really is a horrible person. Unfortunately, you may have to come to the realization that he's into femdom and your sister can suck the chrome off a trailer hitch. My husband's ex is Karen. She's a classic narcissist. When one of our feral hens started acting aggressive towards other hens, my stepson named her Karen. Edit. Whoa. The most upvotes I've ever had. No awards. Though. Ha. Also. We live on Kauai. So we differentiate between feral chickens and the ones cage raised for food and or eggs. We have 5 or so roosters. 8 or so hens. 3 of which have 4, 6, and 8 chicks. We feed the adults oats and scraps and the chicks get chick starter until they can eat other stuff. We really love them. Except the roosters. They're righteous bastards. I accidentally ate my dog's ass last week. I was supposed to wash her but I slipped a little. Curiously though, her ass tasted just like a goat's ass. PS. Not the married to one. But my mom's a Karen. Literally overreacts to everything. Whenever something doesn't go her way, you guessed, go to speak to the manager or whoever is in charge. Sometimes really embarrassing to go out in public with her because she'll just yell at the service workers for the smallest of things. Also, she has a bob cut. My mom was a Karen for a while. She literally didn't realize it until my brother and I started calling her out on it when we were early teens because we're embarrassed. She made genuine efforts to change. And a few years later was the sweetest woman you ever meet. Just saying, there's hope. Don't think there's any Karen's husbands on Reddit. None of them are on here. They're on shared Facebook accounts named Karen and Dave Smith. This exploded more than I could imagine. Honey Saint Ly, she's perfect. She makes me so happy. I'm divorcing a Karen. Nothing was ever good enough. Everything had to be the most expensive thing, and even then it wasn't good enough. It was exhausting and it sucked the passion I had for life out of me. Edit. Slept on this and thought of some more telltale signs. She never said nice things about me. To me or to other people. My best friend came over for a barbecue with his wife and kids, and her mother just mocked me the whole time to my friend's wife. My friend's wife confronted them about it. Even on our wedding day, the part you say nice things sounded like a tentatively warm school report card. The nicest thing I remember her saying about me was, I like how you make the salads. It's better than how I make it. The whole time that's the best I can think of. I know a couple with a Karen. She blamed him for everything. The husband was, in our opinion, something of a saint. Semicolon. Once she broke a glass in the kitchen. Came and sat back down at the table. And said that was your fault. We all just stared at her. She looked sheepish and said, I knew that one probably wouldn't work. Semicolon. They're divorced. Now. I guess even saintliness has its limits. Semicolon. Edit. And now for the you can't make this up zinger. Her first name is really and truly Karen. I was married to a Karen. I'm sure the question on everyone's mind is, was she like that at home? The answer is abso-f-king-lutely. She was the kind of Karen who it had to be absolutely perfect or I'm complaining. Restaurants. Stores. Anything. At home was worse. I couldn't do anything right. Any ambitions or dreams I had. I wasn't good enough to do. So why try? Ugh. So glad I divorced her. Bonus. The lawyer she hired was an idiot and wrote the paperwork up wrong. So she won't get anything from my retirement. I taught my nephews, ages 9 and 11, about Karens last year when they stayed with us for a week after school let out. After describing trees and observing them in the wild, they asked somewhere around day 2. Is our mom a Karen? My reply. Your words. Not mine. I knew from the beginning that there would be difficulties, but I loved her and made the leap to make her my forever partner. Yes. Her attitude towards certain people and things confused me at times. But by keeping an open mind and accepting her for who she was, everything has worked out well. We've been married for 10 years. We have a darling daughter. And I've even come to love my wife's kimchi fried rice. Karen, not Korean. Edit. I didn't mean this as a joke and my dull bum literally thought the guy read it wrong. I'm not married to a Karen. I named the human that came out of me in 2007 Karen. She's 12 and hates her name. She wants to change it. It is the absolute best. I love my wife. Edit. Divorced Karen. Haven't had a need to see a manager since. My brother was married to a Karen. She lived to berate people and rarely went anywhere without a flask of vodka to fuel her fire. She despised kids and wasn't quiet about it. In the first year of marriage she decided her husband had to earn sex. So if she didn't like the way he painted the shed or groomed the dog or poured his cornflakes, and she never did, there was no reward. After 10 years he divorced her, moved to another state, and married a kind-hearted, generous, empathetic lady. Karen still can't understand why he dumped her perfect ass. My mom is a Karen. Legit her name too. Could be the original Karen it is all based on. Don't think she knows the meme of her own name. Essentially she is such a Karen she got her name changed to Karen. And there is a lot of food sent back at restaurants. I was dating one and she acts as if we're still together. Karen? I love my beautiful wife to the moon and back and she is amazing and str wrong-willed. Oon. My mother is a Karen. If something minor inconveniences her, she blows it up into a huge done. Constantly complains. My mum is a bit of a Karen. And we're pretty much no contact now, so that should tell you everything you need to know. Whenever we'd go out to eat it's always too cold. They don't have the brand of sparkling water she likes. They've put ice in her drink when she didn't want it. She always has to make some kind of modification to her order, etc. The list goes on. It got to the point where if we were out shopping and she said she needed to return something I'd just go somewhere else because I couldn't stand watching her be rude and argue with the staff. My parents are divorced and I live with my dad now instead. Part of the reason I barely see my mum is because I'd have to meet her in public, go for a coffee or something, and I just can't deal with the way she behaves in these places, so I don't go. Engaged to one. She was raised as a princess by her military raised father. However she's super down to earth, but God forbid you work in the service industry and mess something up. She worked at IHOP during college, so it humbled her compared to her family. She just writes reviews now, good or bad, and emails corporate to complain. If something is wrong with my food she refuses me to sit there and eat it. Which I hate, but I have gotten her better about it, I believe. So maybe she is just a recovering Karen at this point. My mom is a Karen. She literally cannot help herself but to tell other her opinion. She genuinely sees it as doing everyone a favor. It destroys her relationships with my siblings. None of my other siblings will talk to her. A few years ago we went out to eat. The restaurant served bread and butter before the meal. The butter was whipped. My mom, the former dairy farmer's daughter, insisted they bring her real butter. The waitress went back to the kitchen and came back and told her what she had was butter. How dare she? My mom, who apparently is infallible in her ability to detect butter, started acting like a complete arsehole to the waitress about it. She knows what real butter tastes like. I go to this restaurant often and my kids are there, so my first instinct was to apologize to the waitress. That was a bad idea. As soon as I did, my mom went into a rage about respecting your elders and walked out of the restaurant. To this day she still won't admit she was unkind to the waitress. You refuse to enable her. Good for you. I'm not married to a Karen, but someone in my family decided to make a Karen family, and let me just say, it is freaking hell. I do not go to any social event if said Karen will be there. Keeps the peace in my family tbh. Nor do I go alone with Karen. She is a nightmare to everyone in her path. From car guards to cashiers. Even her friends. No one can be better than her or smarter than her, and she's just freaking exhausting, man. The worst part is, talk about beating a dead horse. Ask Carol F. King Baskin's husbands how it is. You are either dead or you take photos on all fours dressed as a tiger. When I first met my wife, she was beautiful as every single way. I remember looking at her when we walked around a lake, and as she spoke to the ducks I thought, I'm going to marry this beautiful Snow White. She loved all animals and they loved her right back. Her soul was pure. She looked like a queen in everything she wore. Be it jeans or a sundress. She was never a princess type woman. She was always destined to be my queen. She demanded love and respect because that was what she deserved. I'm not sure when she changed, but slowly and surely, she did. She humiliates me. She belittles me and she saddens me. I'll never be right or even acknowledged to have a valid point or opinion. She wastes money that I work hard to earn. She has strategically spaced out our pregnancies to maximize the time she doesn't have to return to paid work. She has admitted this. Why don't I leave her? Better the devil you know. One time my sister and I went to Applebee's. Or as we like to call it, Crapplebee's. But a Karen was sitting next to us yelling at this 16-year server BC her Crapplebee's steak dinner wasn't to her liking. The young lady started to cry. So as we finished and left, my sister said maybe we'd all be a little happier if we didn't expect a 5-star steak dinner from AFCKing Applebee's, and the Karen was rather defeated and sank in her chair. The young server said thank you so much when we left, lol. The Karen was eating alone too. Didn't have to wonder why. Did everyone clap? How is it like? I had to go out for a cigarette and abandon her. To my son Nelson. I'll be back one day. They're the guys with couples profiles on FB. My brother married a Karen. I was still living at home. They moved in. I moved out. I had to move an hour away from them. I get abused by my mother when I don't agree with said Karen. My sister is half Karen. She's actually a really nice person. But I hate going out to eat with her. Inevitably. Something is always wrong with her food and she sends it back. She's nice about it but super nitpicky. Every damn time. And even if her food is okay. If someone at the table makes the smallest complaint, she'll suggest to tell the server. They'll say nah. No big deal. Then she will flag down the server and complain for them. Imagine a Karen but 6 feet tall. With gorilla strength. Way too much body hair. And an always angry Mediterranean accent. That's my dad. Karens marry Kevins. The male equivalent. They drive trucks even though they work in offices. Think the checkout ladies are flirting with them and start fights over parking spaces. They're the assholes that rush to overtake you and slow down. They flirt with the waitress while their wives are in the bathroom. But only tip 10%. They have concealed carry permits but let everyone know they conceal carry. By showing off their guns every chance they get. Which trigger discipline. They think calling black people urban youth means they're not racist. And wear shirts that threaten their daughters' dates unironically. They let the police know that they pay their wages. Every chance they get. Sometimes they hit their wives and they certainly hit their kids. It's easier than talking to them. Obligatory not married to a Karen. However, my mother is a Karen and lord is it not easy. I don't even know how many times I've had to correct her on the way she speaks to servers. Doesn't listen. The smallest inconvenience. She wants to talk to someone higher up. She overreacts to every inconvenience and is the type to try and bargain at a retail store. Apparently the concept of set price does not apply to her. Can't stand it. I'm glad I no longer live with my parents. I love my mother, I do, and she has great qualities, but she is the most Karen a Karen can be. She helps me try to steal the secret formula. We never get it. But it's good to try. Y'all. I have a Karen for a mom and she's super religious now after years of legit making fun of people for having a religion in their life. Already horrible. I know. So long story short. I'm going to school for game design and I have expressed to her how much I love it and that it's truly my calling in life. As a Karen though, she continues to tell me how games are made by Satan to make us bad and violent people. Is she telling me I'm a bad person? If so, I guess it would make sense being the offspring of a Karen. Here's to all the children of the Karen. I hope you're doing good out there.